Hello, everyone. My name is Stella. I'm a cybersecurity professional with a focus in networking and engineering and security. So today I will take you just a little walk around networking and what it is and what have you. Yes. So let's just get started. Before now, I believe that a lot of persons have actually checked out networking and network security. So I would like to just have one person say something about networking or where they are, what they think it is, or just something so that I would know that I'm talking to some persons that are actually interested in what I'm saying. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. So, who would like to volunteer out of our guests to actually share what you know about networking? That's what Stella's asked for. So, let's have an actual engaging and engaged audience tonight. So, who would like to actually share what you know about networking, even if it's not that much? Thank you.
Let me go. Let me go. Since that's my area as well. If it's allowed.
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Chiamaka. Yes. Networking is just, to my knowledge, it's just the connection of various computing devices, Internet of the Things, different components that can connect together over the internet to present that convert information or data information to data, which is usable data for the user, or sort of in short.
Yes, thank you very much. You said you actually defined it. So you're talking to a,
Okay. You seem to be
talking to
having.
B is talking to C. You know how we go for networking events and we as if they are someone. They might just send message like as if there's someone you don't even know, telling you how much of inheritance they have gotten, how they have cancer, and so on. They can also disguise as a particular shopping brand, especially if they have actually checked you out for a long time, know you like shopping from Amazon or particular place. They come in, they form as if they are, they do their logos or everything to look like that. But you have to watch out, you have to check your email headers, and you have to be sure that you actually ordered something before you even do. So basically, these people pry on your greed first. They give you sense of urgency, and then that's it. We have malwares. Malwares are so many, but just consider it as malicious softwares that are not wanted. They're like viruses, ransomware. There's so many of them, Trojan horses and stuff like that. Now, these malwares, you get them through different means, right? You're looking for a free application for, you're looking for a crowd version of that application or something you clicked on a link that you ought not to click, which you're supposed to scan the link and check it properly before you actually click on it. So those things actually get you to download some sort of malware in your device, in your system. Now, it can mess things up through that malware. It can steal your files or even lock you out of your computer entirely. As a matter of fact, some of them will go as far as trying to spy on you. We have spywares, which is a kind of malware that spy on you to know every activity you're doing. While you're working on your system, you will think all is well, but all is not well. Now, basically, I place this under unauthorized access. This is when someone tries to get into your network or maybe your account without permission. The person is trying to guess your password or doing what we call a brute force. Brute force is like a persistent trial of maybe your credentials. It's a tool that is used to actually get unauthorized access to logins. Now, the one that is basically mostly the fault of the engineers and the technicians is misconfigurations. They just basically some engineers sometimes make mistake, human error, and sometimes it might be lack of knowledge or whatever, what have you. So this misconfiguration opens some security holes, right? You open some security holes, and then the attackers would observe it, and once they find out that okay, there is this vulnerability, they would take they will exploit the vulnerability, probably getting access to your login or something. So misconfigurations they are very big deals, and basically, even when you talk about web applications, you see wrong codes. They are very big deals. So whenever you're setting in something, you should be sure that you're setting the accurate and you're protecting yourself, your password, you're using the right password. You're not just using words or something that dictionary can guess and stuff like that. So I'm trying to show tell before I start showing, so it doesn't become all talks. But we have to understand that there are tools and techniques for network defense. Of course, we've talked about firewall. We talked about firewall as a networking device. Now we're talking about it as um, a tool for defense. To come into your network, then you will need to set it on your firewall. You need to put up that setting on your firewall for that to work. Now we have what we call access control list. Access control lists are like custom settings for different parts of your network, right? Now, there are a list of who should be allowed in and out of a specific area, right? Preventing unwanted visitors from going maybe where they shouldn't. You are in the admin department, but you want to access what is in the finance. The access control list would ensure that someone at the reception is not knowing what is happening with the accounting department or the managing department and stuff like that. And then it also ensures that a junior staff will not have same access with someone who should be a network admin and so on and so forth. Now, imagine let's say a receptionist having the same access with the network admin. The network admin is supposed to be protecting and managing the network. So it means that everything on the network is exposed to the public, because I mean the receptionist is the front desk. Now, if the receptionist makes the mistake one day of logging into the system and forgetting about it, maybe going to the toilet to ease themselves, and then there is someone watching or trying to exploit that vulnerability, that means the company would be shambles. Now, we have what we call VLAN segmentation. So VLAN is just like you having a very big hall, right? And then you are separating it into different rooms for different purposes. So our networks, we separate them into different segments, sections, so that one, it can be easily managed. Because if you have a large network, if you don't segment the VLANs into sections, it will be so hard to manage. Two, for security. Now, if you're implementing security configurations per se, the configuration that applies to this so staff might not apply to so staff. So what you can do is maybe divide them into departments and then configure them based on the requirements they have. That way, you will be able to give the right security, the right access to the right people, and then be able to manage it. And then it helps to increase speed. So imagine everybody using one network, the speed will be very slow. But once you divide them, so just consider VLAN as a big network, but inside the big network, there are sections divided virtually, virtual sections divided. So LAN, local area network, V, virtual local area network. I don't know if anyone has anything to say. If you do, please, you raise your hand while I continue so that I don't just have to be talking and talking. So we have VPN. Of course, we've always been hearing about VPN. Usually when you go to a public place and you want to use a public Wi-Fi, please use a VPN. Use a VPN too. If you have to use a public Wi-Fi anyway, use a VPN, because a VPN creates a super secure encrypted network for you. So it creates a tunnel, and the tunnel is encrypted. So imagine you walking into a large area and you don't want to be seen. So you have to follow through a tunnel specifically for you, and that tunnel is encrypted. Or what word will I use to replace encryption? It's covered, it's disguised. That tunnel is disguised, not to show that you're the one passing. Maybe they will be seeing an animal passing or something else. I'm just using it for an example. So that is what VPN does for you. So it protects you, makes you private and stuff like that from prying eyes. Now, we've been hearing about MFA, multi-factor authentication. We've been hearing about multi-factor authentication. We've heard about two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication is two-step. So multi-factor is from two and above. Yeah. So for MFA, it means that you need more than just a password to get into your account. It could be a password and a code will be sent to you or something. So basically, usually something you know, something you have, or something you are, something like that. So you put in your password, it takes you to an authenticator app where you can actually authenticate it. This helps to create secure network. So when engineers are configuring, they configure in a way that MFA is put into consideration. Now, the concept of zero trust is simple. Never trust, always verify. Whatever you see, you have to put on a security mindset. If you see a link, even if it was sent to you by your friend, you have to copy it and paste it um, on sites like VirusTotal. Check if this is a malicious link, and so on and so on. There are more technical ways to actually check if these things, if this link you're trying to access is actually safe to access. So every single attempt that you are making, you have to check it and you have to confirm it. This is the moment where I would pause, because we are about to build even a little network to consolidate what we have been saying. But before we build this network, I want to have some questions, some opinions, whatever you have to say, so we can move on. Anybody, you can just raise your hands and we'll be good to go.
Could I ask a question for the benefits of our users? Where could someone download a private VPN from for home use? Thank you.
Okay, so there are a lot of private VPN there. So basically, you have to, the best place to download is from the right source. So if you're using Apple, that is if you're using a virtual VPN, that's the normal ones that we've been using. You can go to your Apple store. You can use Proton VPN. I prefer whatever VPN you're using, you should use a paid version so that you have extra security options that you will use. If you're using an Android, of course, you go to, I think, is the Play Store that you can go. Just going to the internet and downloading is risky, unless you're sure that that is the official website of the owners of that product.
But thank you so much. You've answered my question for everyone in terms of making sure that we download from an official source, that we don't just go and download any VPN from any random place on the internet, especially those free ones. And I've got another question. You mentioned a link where we can go to check a URL before clicking on it. Yeah,
VirusTotal.
yeah, VirusTotal. Now, would you mind sharing how people can check a link without accidentally clicking on the link?
Okay, so let me open VirusTotal and then probably share something with you. Trying to open it. So this is VirusTotal. I would have to open our WhatsApp chat. Are you fine with that, Madam Ibukun?
Yes,
So
I'm
I can take a
absolutely.
look.
Yes, I'm absolutely fine with that, as long as you're not disclosing any of your personal information or other personal chats. Yeah, please do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just a minute. So assuming this is the link sent to me to join a meeting, which is usually one of the tactics of the bad actors, right? They usually tell you, oh, you're in this WhatsApp group, we are having meeting. Please click on the link to join. And you click, you don't click on it, you just hover on it. If you're using your system, of course, you right click and copy. If you're using your phone, you just copy the link out. Do not click on it. Copy the link out. Just go on my VirusTotal screen if it's not already shared. Okay, that's it. So you come here, you see URL, you click on it, and then you paste it. You paste that link. Oh my God, I copied everything. Just a minute.
Good evening. Please, I have a question concerning firewalls. I don't know if I can ask.
So you paste the link here, and then it's going to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, we can hear you. Yeah, yes, we can see you and hear you. And when you finish this, somebody else has got a
Please
question.
ask your question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
The question I want to ask is, can the firewalls be hijacked during monitoring in and out activities of network? In the network, can it be hijacked by hackers?
So when you mean hijack, do you mean that can a hacker or when you say hacker, there are also ethical ones. So you think has access to a firewall, right? Is that what you're saying? Is that the question?
Black hat this thing. I mean black hat hackers. Is it possible for them to hijack a firewall during monitoring of the in and out activities of a network? Is it possible for them to hijack it and misconfigure it?
Yes, I'm trying to paraphrase your question to make sure that I understand your question. When you mean hijack, you mean, is it possible for them to get unauthorized access and be able to do the things they want to do or on that firewall?
Yes, to have unauthorized access.
Yes,
is it possible?
yes, it is 100% possible for them to have unauthorized access to the firewall. Now, if the engineers, if there's a misconfiguration, that's one vulnerability, right? If there's a misconfiguration in this thing, firewall. Also, if they are able to get the credentials somehow, maybe by social engineering or the network admin or something, they would be able to have the access to the firewall. And once you have the access to the firewall, depending on the level of access you have, you'll be able to do a lot. If you have a very privileged access, then you can totally hijack it. That's it. Does that make sense, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. No, thank you.
Yes. So this is it. We clicked on the virus data, it loaded. This, what we used was the link for this meeting. So you can see it's saying clean, 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 and clean. So this is your cue that, okay, this, if peradventure you see anywhere they say for you, click on that link. Yes. So in as much as, I mean, virus data have proven to work over and over again, we cannot always trust it, but it's 90% okay to click on the link. I'm just giving the 90% from my own point of view. Does this make sense? Yeah. Madam Ibuku, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, I thought the screen was sharing at some point.
Yeah, so you did answer my question. It was the gentleman that asked the question about the firewall, but you definitely answered my question about making sure that you only right click on a link rather than click on the link to copy it. You right click on the link and then you copy and paste it to that website, and then you then just check to make sure that the link is secure.
All right. So we'll quickly do a very quick demo of how a simple network can be configured. Now, this demo is just going to entail a simple network, and for the want of time, we don't have the time to do a lot, but we're going to use a packet tracer. Packet tracer is a network simulation tool. And think of it as something you use to plan the design of your network first. You plan it, you configure it. If it's working on the packet tracer, if you take the same information to the real physical network, everything is going to work just that way. I mean, you may encounter little issue here and there, but just know that you're almost set to go. I'll be sharing the packet tracer file so you can see it. If at any point you stop seeing my screen, please let me know. So this is what the packet tracer file looks like. For want of time, we're going to be working with whatever is down here. So this is a router. Just look down there. You see some things in circle. This is a router in packet tracer. So let's just let's do one router, one switch, and just simple two PCs. Let's use two PCs. One router, one switch, two PCs. And then we connect them. Sorry. All right. So I'm trying to connect. This is a router on packet, a switch on packet tracer, connecting the switch to the router, and then I'm connecting the pieces to the switches. So we will be working with this simple network. If you notice, this place is whatever it is cannot pass. A simple configuration would start with the router. The first thing we have to do, we have to configure an IP address on the router. You have to configure an IP address on the router. Usually you can give your router name, okay? You can give your router name, but just because we do not have the time, we are already beating time. So we will just go ahead. If you, oh, sorry. I'm going to click on the router. Something will pop up, but I don't know if you can see it at your end. So please confirm if you can see the pop-up at your end. Please confirm you can see. Can you see it?
I can't see.
No, no pop-up.
Okay, that means I have to share that on its own too.
It's okay. You can read what it says to us.
It's a very long thing to read, so let me just share.
And there's just a reminder as well that so these two switches, these two PCs are on the same network and they're connected to this switch, which allows them to communicate with one another. And then they're now connected to a router. That switch is connected to a router, which allows access to the internet. Yes?
So, yes, I believe you can see the pop-up now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes. So when you click on that router, you're likely going to have it come up this way. And then you see physical config, CLI attribute. CLI is the command line interface, which is where I usually like working. And basically, most network engineers will work from there. It will ask you if you would like to enter the initial config. It will take you to this space, which is where you will enter, you enter your enable to, this is like the user face, where you get the first level access, right? Then for you to be able to configure something on this router, you have to enter into the global configuration mode, which the command to do that is configure terminal, right? I don't know if it's okay for me to just use the short form, but this is the configure terminal, right? Now we are in the global configuration mode. At the global configuration mode, you can make your configurations. This is where you make inputs, you remove things, and so on and so forth. So remember, we are trying to configure an IP address, right? So we are going to use the router interface. Now, this router, the interface on this router is gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0. I'm confirming it from here, but it wouldn't share from your own end. So just GIG 0/0/0. So we have to enter that interface. You know, when you are setting up something, you don't set it from far unless you have access to it remotely. You have to enter the interface. You have to plug it on the interface. So just assume that that's the way what we are doing right now. So we have to enter the interface. 0/0/0. Your interface can be anything. You have to be sure. It can be just 0/0. It can be 0/1. You have to check what your connection is saying. Confirm it, because if it is not this interface, it's going to, let me know. So we just enter the interface. If you notice, you will notice that this keeps changing. At first, it gave us router with a greater than sign. When we imputed enable, it changed to a hash, showing that we have moved on from user mode to the exec mode. Then we now want to enter the global configuration mode, we had to put the configure terminal. We have to put the configure terminal, and after that, it's stated that we enter configuration, blah, blah, blah. Just leave that line. But you can notice that something has been added, config has been added. And when we enter the interface, you see where it says config IF. IF is just interface. So that angle, that part would actually give you idea of the mode that you are in at the moment. if you are out of the mode you want to be in, you would be able to know it. Because if you try to configure something in a mode that you're not supposed to use, it becomes a problem. It's not going to work. That's what I mean. So we're going to try to configure an IP address now, since we have entered the interface. I'll be using the 192.168.10.1 IP address with the Class C subnet mask. I know that you are new to networking, but you just see it's a bunch of numbers that you'll be using. Just so you know, you put IP address 192.168.10.1 rather. So 10.1. Then the subnet mask, which is 255.255.255.0. This way, this router has been given an IP address. Remember, the router name is router 0. We didn't give it another name. If you want to give it another name, let's say Stella's router, you have to configure host name on it. But for the ones of time, we'll just move on. Now that you have configured your IP address, this router is not turned on. For you to turn on the router, you put the command no shutdown, rather the interface, put the command no shutdown. It turns it up. You can see it said this interface change state to up. So you've turned it up, on rather. You can then exit that mode. You see that the if is off. If I click another exit, it will take me back to the exec mode, which had the router hash. This is a simple way of configuring an IP address on a router, enterprise router, or you could just buy your own at home. Yes. So this is the way to configure IP address. Now we are going to configure our PCs. Now we're not going to touch the switch because usually the switch the switch can function even without you putting this in. Because the reason why we put IP address on the switch is so that we can actually mostly manage it remotely. So it will still work to still communicate. It's designed that way. So we are going to put the IP addresses of the IP address on the PC1 and the PC2. We're also going to add extra thing. Remember, we added IP address and the subnet mask for the router. Now we're going to do the same thing for PC1 and PC2, and then add extra thing, which is the default gateway. That is default gateway is that IP address of the router that we did. So we need to tell the PC that they are able to communicate to this particular router. Remember, the router was showing red signs and all that at the beginning. So I'm going to try to open my PC. I'm clicking on my PC, the first PC. I will share the pop-up with you.
Well, whilst you're doing that, please, for those who aren't familiar with the terms IP address and default gateway, could you just briefly explain? I know subnet mask is a bit, complex, but if you could briefly explain in, basic language what an IP address is for and what a default gateway is for on a router and on your network. Thank you. Just in simple language. Thanks.
Yes. Let me. Yes. So just consider IP address as an identifier. Consider it as an identifier, like everyone has a house address, right? And each house address has a room number. So those numbers, the addresses, all those things are used to identify a particular house, a particular room. So this is the same thing that the IP address does. If you impute an IP address on a device, that IP address will be used to identify that device. It will help the device to communicate. It will help another device to know, oh, I'm sending information to this place and not this place. So imagine a dispatch rider trying to deliver something to you. He needs an address to deliver something to you. So the default gateway is like the device that connects your local network to the other network. Remember when I was explaining the function of a router, I told you that the router would help you connect to the internet. And when you connect to the internet, it just means that you're able to talk to other people. You're connecting, you're networking. So it helps you move from the switching level, that is the local network where you are, to be able to connect to someone. It is the router. Router is one of the key reasons why I am able to talk to you, because we are obviously not on the same network. So that is what default gateway does. Default gateway connects your local network to the other networks, especially the internet. I hope I'm able to explain that. Do you need more clarity?
Yeah, that was perfect. Now, I was just asking for lay users that don't come from an IT or networking background, but that was amazing. Thank you. So what you said is that an IP address is the unique identifier, the unique address of a computer on a network. And the default gateway is the router address, essentially, that enables that network, anything on the network, any device on the local network to communicate with the external world. It has to go through that router, through that default gateway IP address before it can connect to the internet. Thank you. That's clear. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we'll configure the first PC. I just shared my screen. I click on the PC, something similar to what was on the routers showed up. But you can see the physical config. You can't see anything CLI. This is because you just have to go to the desktop. Go to the desktop of the PC. Remember, it was a desktop PC that we were using. So you go there, click on the IP address and impute your IP address. In this case, we want to use 192.168.10.10 for this. Okay. So I will just put it on static, and then 192.168.10.10. And usually I would impute subnet mask. I don't know if this dark mode is letting people see what is written here. So, the PC automatically imputes the default gateway is the device that helps you connect to the internet. And what's the device? Is the router. And we have already configured an IP address on the router, which was 192.168.10.1. So this is the same IP address we are going to be. So I'm going to put it here. This is the placeholder for default gateway 192.168. What's the IP address again? .10.1. .10.1. Sorry. .1. So we have configured this PC 0. I would quickly do the same thing on the second PC, just to save time. I wouldn't present it. We'll quickly do the same thing on the second PC, which I will, instead of using, remember the first PC I used 192.168.10.10. This second PC I'll be using 10.20, because remember the IP address is a unique identifier. You can't use this same IP address for the atom. 10.20. The subnet mask then which is 1.168 address. So on the PKT file, the larger screen of the PKT file, you will notice that the red or the orange color has changed to green, because we have actually configured this to talk to each other. We have configured them to network to each other. So we have to check. Let's verify to know if this connection is good, because if verification helps us to know when we have misconfigured. You already know what misconfiguration can cause. So we will just use the simple ping verification. We're going to use PC1 to ping PC2 to see whether they can communicate. It means that if it's successful, it means that PC1 can talk to PC2. That is the address of PC2. So I'm going to share it. There will be a lot of sharing today. I'm going to share the PC1, the first PC that we configured. So this was the first PC that we configured. So I'll just click on this close sign, go to the, still on the desktop, go to command prompt and just type ping. When you type ping, you put in the IP address that you would like to ping. In this case, we are pinging 192.168.10.20. So we type it 192.168.10.20. So let's see if it's successful. You can see. So the ping is successful. It means that we have been able to connect or configure the two PCs to be able to talk to the router. That is what this means. Now, we have other things to set on this router, like the password and so on and so forth. But I don't know if we have the time. So hence I would ask Madam if I should continue with the demo or we can just call it a day. Are you there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Do I continue with the demo? We can just stop the demo here, or we can just go ahead and configure a little security configurations like the password and so on.
Okay, so what you've done here is that you've configured all of the devices to talk to one another.
Yes.
Using that, and now you're testing by pinging the default gateway. Yeah. Okay. So is everybody happy with that? Does everybody understand that? And can we move on? Or has anyone got any questions rather?
For me, I'm very much familiar with terminal and command prompt and this configuration. But my own question I want to ask is I want to ask question concerning the 192.168.110. I discovered that this one that you put here, 192.168.10.20, is different from the other one that is 10.10.
Yes.
Why are they different?
So the reason is because remember what I said about IP address. They are different. They are unique identifiers, right? Now, if you notice the pattern, the network portion remained the same. What I changed was the last digits, which was 10 and 20. The reason why the network portion remains the same and also tallies with the router so that they can actually communicate to the router. But if I give the first PC 10 and give the second PC 10, it does not uniquely identify who is who anymore. Do you understand that?
Yes, my
Did you
question
get
has been
that?
answered. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Should I continue or
Yeah,
move
I think
ahead to the
so.
next section?
I think so because there's no more questions, or there doesn't appear to be any more questions. So please continue. Thank you. Thanks.
All right. So I think I should when you mean continue, I should continue with the demo, right?
Yes, please. It's your program. I'm a joint student as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that privileged access to do anything. But I will be time conscious, by the way. So I just want to show how to set password privileged mode, and how to set password for the console, because security wise, if someone is able to enter your data center and your console is not secure, the person would be able to access, let's say, your switch or your router, and the person will be able to do some configurations, right? If the access to your privilege mode is also not secure, that's a very big security vulnerability for you. So as a network security professional, this is like the first things you should be thinking of before you go into the deeper aspect of securing your network. These are the first things. What I should secure, at least the first contact to my devices. So that's what we are going to do now. I'm going to set password on the router. So let me just share the router again. The router pop-up rather. Remember, we have to have access. This is enable, and the user mode. Now we enter the privileged exec mode, where if we want to configure anything, we have to configure terminal, which is allow us to enter the global configuration. Here we can configure anything we want to configure. Now, please, the password I'm going to be using is just a simple password. However, whenever you have the opportunity to set your password, please follow the password rules. At least have higher numbers. Your password should be like, for me, to be like above 8. Should have it should not be a dictionary word. It should be a mix of alphabets, numbers, and symbols. By so doing, you'll be able to at least set up a secured password at least. Now, I'm going to just use Stella as the password. So please don't use Stella on your own password when you're configuring. So the command to protect the privilege mode is enable secrets. It used to be enable password in case that's what you know before. Include the privilege mode. So now we have set this thing to enable secrets, Stella 1, 2, 3. It means that before we access the privilege mode, we have to put in this password, Stella 1, 2, 3. Let's see if it's working. So I'm going to put, is it? So this is just for verification. I'm putting enable. Did you see that it has asked me for password? Before now, once I put enable, it will just go on to the privilege exec mode. But now the privilege exec mode is protected. I can't add configure terminal. I have to input the password that is there. So if the bad actor does not know this password, the person will not be able to access this privilege exec mode. So I'm going to put the password now for want of time. You see, it's now on the privilege exec mode. And that is how it is done. The next thing we will think of protecting is this console. We need to set password for the console for the local access, so that this will so that it will secure the physical access to that router through the console. People will not just be able to access the console of the router. Just anybody can just go there and do that. It will not work. So remember, before you configure something, you have to go to the global configuration mode, which is configure terminal, which is the command, and it will just enter. So at this point, remember your configuring the console. And this is a command, line console, the console line console 0. You have to enter. Remember when we were configuring the router, we entered the interface. This time around, we are entering the line console 0 to configure the console. So as we are inside the line console 0, we have to put in the password. Now, let's say password. The command to put password for the privilege exec mode is different from the command to set or configure password for the line console. Just take note. Privilege exec mode is enable secrets, then you put in your password. But the line console password is simply password. Put the word password, then you type the password you want. In this case, I'll just put console 123. Right. So if I exit and try to enter sorry, I didn't see that coming. Sorry, just a minute. When you type, sometimes when you type the wrong command without knowing, it will take a while for it to come. So, but if I press enable, it's supposed to bring up from the user mode. If I put enable, it's supposed to take me to the privilege exec mode, where I would put in the password we said before, which is Stella 123. After I had put that, it will then take us to, oh my God, this thing is taking time to load. So it will then take us to, oh, thank God. It will then take us to privilege exec. We'll put in the configure terminal where we'll enter the global configuration mode. So I just type the configure terminal now. And then, yes. Do you know why it did not bring up the password? Because we did not add instruction for it to bring up login. Now, if you configure the line console, you have to also configure it to bring a prompt for you to put in a password, unlike the privilege exec mode. So this now is the right command. Line console 0. You put in password, console 123. And then you now give it the command to log in just by tapping login, right? And then let's verify again. Exiting and coming back again. So we are trying to go back in console by console, and that's it. Now there's a command to encrypt or show run. If you see that, you can be able to see all these passwords. Show run is show running config. Let me do it the right way. Show configuration. Sorry, show run. Look at this output where we inputted our command show running config, and this is the point where it started giving us outputs. And when you keep going, I'm going to keep going. Are you seeing enable secrets? The reason why it's encrypted, because remember I told you that it encrypts it, but this encryption is not as strong as if you just put the real encryption. Looking for the other password that has to do with password. Please, if you're able to see it, let me know. While we are scrolling. See, he just brought out the password. Hold on. If you're able to see the plain text for the password, please let me know. All right. I think, well, usually you will see the plain text. I just cut it short without knowing. You will see it to appear as a plain text. So if someone is able to access your router, the person will be able to see this, your password, in plain text. And the person will be able to know, yes, look at the password I'm looking for. You can see the line console password. Can you see it? It's in plain text because we just use the command password. Why the other one is encrypted? Because we added enable secret. Now, if you had used enable password, which is the old device command, it would just still show that thing to show the password in a plain mode. So that is how it is. So in order to encrypt, make sure that everything is encrypted. In order to make sure that everything is encrypted, you have to encrypt all password by using the command service password encryption. Okay, remember, before you put on any command, you have to enter the global configuration mode. You got terminal. Right, so the command is service password encryption. And this means that everything would now be encrypted. We can now check it out if it was actually encrypted. Right, by doing the essential running config. Now, the first one is actually encrypted before now. So let's move on and check the one that we saw on plain text. So you see, the line console that we saw on plain text is now encrypted. I don't know if you understand. So this is like a security setup. If someone finally gets access to your device, the person will only be seeing encrypted password and nothing else. There are so many security settings when it comes to networking, those that I know, and those I'm yet to know. So, but the major thing is that you are making efforts to put in all security settings in place. You do your checks, you do your balances, and you document everything you are doing. As you're configuring, you are documenting it. As you're configuring, you're documenting it. Documentation would enable you to know what you did before so that you can be able to fix any error. You can be able to troubleshoot when there is a problem. That is that for the demo. Before we talk about career path and then conclude, I don't know if anybody has any question to ask, so we can go.
Yes, my question is completely
There's
clear.
no question. Okay. Go ahead, please.
My question is, if for the, is it only the command prompt and the terminal, this thing, and the terminal software that we use to secure the, to encrypt the password from external, this thing, that is external hackers?
Okay, first of all, I did not use the command prompt to encrypt the password. I use the CLI, that is the interface for configuration, right? So you can only make configuration changes from that interface. So I don't know if that is the answer to your question, because I didn't really understand the question fully. Does that answer your question?
Yes, you've answered my question properly. You've answered my question. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, sir. All right, so I would share my screen so that I would just conclude. Okay, where's the share button? Yes, please confirm that you can see my screen because I can't see it.
Yes, we can, please.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Thank you. So yes, career paths in networking. So networking is like, first of all, the basics of cybersecurity. And a lot of IT fields also need to understand a little bit of networking before they will be able to do some certain task. Well, in cybersecurity, you must know the basics of networking for you to even enter into GRC or not enter to SOC, or you even want to hack. I mean, you cannot hack what you don't know. As an ethical hacker, you must understand networking to a very large extent, because that is the only way you can get access. Because if you know a certain kind of misconfiguration, you would be able to exploit that misconfiguration. Now, the career paths for you to become a network security professional or a network engineer is is a very long, short road. I'm going to put it that way. So you're going to start with the basics, right? You're going to like kick things off with roles like trying to, I mean, when it comes to job, going to be looking at network support roles, IT support roles. You can see roles in junior network, as a junior network engineer too. You can start with those roles and then move on. Then you have to grow your skill. Once you've like learned the things you want to learn, you've got the foundations down, you have to keep growing your skill in networking, keep writing exam, maybe take up the role of a network technician, a security analyst, or still a junior network engineer, or even a network engineer. You can as well just go and become a network engineer, right? And then you can also find a niche. In networking, we have people in network security, right? And we also have people that are into wireless, enterprise network. The list goes on and on. If you want to write Cisco exam, they give you options to write when you want to do your niche. You can grow into becoming an architect. Now, this is not a roadmap. Why what is not a roadmap? But it's like a vague vision of what it looks like. Some people learn the basics and they learn very fast. They get the opportunity to get into the network engineering role where they actually experience the job firsthand and they grow from there. So some people add existing skill. Maybe basically, if you've been working for years in a particular field and then you come into this field and then you are able to, maybe you have some sort of affiliation with some that you can never imagine. So, but basically, this is like a very big first steps that you will go. Now, when I say grow your skills, cybersecurity, networking, everything, they are all big on certifications, they are big on learning. If you can't be a continuous learner, if you're someone who does not like to study or who does not enjoy reading, then it's going to really be very difficult for you. But for certifications, there are simple certifications like CompTIA Network Plus. So CompTIA Network Plus like proves the basics of how networks work and how you can handle everyday network issues like little troubleshooting and stuff like that. So if you're able to get CompTIA Network Plus, it means that you understand your foundations. I'm going to skip the second one because I'm going to talk about it towards the end. We have Google Cybersecurity. Google has a free course out there, like a good start. If you're like interested, you want to know what is happening, you want to understand common threats and stuff, please do it. You can't even be in networking when you don't understand the threats or the things that are going on. What are you now securing? Remember, everything in cybersecurity is like you're securing the network. So if the engineer sets the network, if the engineer configure it very well, then that is like a first solid level of security for that company or the organization. We have the FortiGate NSE 1 to 3. We even have FortiGate Cybersecurity Associates. All these ones are basically free. If Google the FortiGate, they are free. As a matter of fact, there is this one that is also free currently, although it's worth $200, but they are giving it out for free. ISC Square. That will give you the foundations of how compliance works, because even as a network person, you need to understand compliance. You need to understand that you're not restricting people wrongly, or you're not giving wrong access to the wrong people. You need to understand how the compliance work entirely. Then I'll go back to the Cisco CCNA. Now, if you want to work with Cisco gears and stuff like that, CCNA is your best bet. Now, the thing is that even if you don't want to work with Cisco gears or you don't have the opportunity, CCNA will still grind you. It's like a very big deal. You're doing, you've built hands-on. That is what CCNA will tell you, because for you to pass through CCNA, it means you have to pass through the courses, you have to do the labs, you have to write the CCNA course exam, not the main exam. After you are done with the course exams and quizzes and tests, then you then move on to write the CCNA exam certification. If you have it, I think that is a very big open door for you. Then we have the AWS Cloud Practitioner. This will enable you to understand how you can work in the cloud and stuff like that, because as a network person, sometimes you might not have a job to go to the data center or a physical network. Your job might be remote. You must learn how to navigate popular cloud service providers interface and know how to do all these things that you're doing on a physical router. You need to learn how to handle them too remotely. Now, what are the basic skills that one needs to build? What are the basic skills one needs to build? Now, the basic skill you need to build is you need to learn about IP addressing, right? You need to understand how IP addressing works, as well as MAC address. But let's just stop here. How IP address, you need to know the basic configuration for a start. Learn how to set up routers and switches. Learn the different commands that you can use on these routers and switches and stuff like that. Now, Linux basics. Now, most interfaces you'll be coming in contact with are built on Linux. So you need to understand how to operate on Linux. Linux does not work like just Windows. You need to understand how to operate on Windows. So you can go out there and look for courses. There are courses on Linux basis on Cisco NetAcad. Cisco NetAcad is a website that you can find from free to paid courses, but a lot of beginners courses on NetAcad is free of charge. These are industry recognized trainings. So you do the trainings on the portals or your Cisco website, Cisco NetAcad website, and then you'll be able to grind yourself, because everyone who has gone through that training knows. Everyone who has gone through that training knows that you have done hands-on labs and taken exams, because that's how it works. You need to understand how firewalls work. At least if you understand how firewalls work, the basic configurations of a firewall, you don't have to go deep. I mean, just for the start. And then you need to understand how to document the process. You need to understand how to document, because documentation will help you a lot in troubleshooting, to help you a lot to fix your network. If it's a client network you're fixing, if it's this way, you need to understand that documentation is like as important as the configuration. Now, most importantly, you need to have a home lab. When I mean you have a home lab, it's not like you should go and take $4,000, $2,000 or $3,000 and go to buy a Cisco router or switch. If you can afford it, very beautiful. There's Packet Tracer. Go on the internet, download Packet Tracer on your system, do projects, do labs, at least once a week. Practice something. Practice something, not just read. Practice something. With that, you'll be able to actually build your skill faster, and you'll be much more ready for the job. Oh, I thought I was presenting. You'll be much more ready for the job. Now, with the permission of Madam Ibukun, well, I have a group. It's just it's not a structured mentorship group. Let me put it down. That's the best way to put it. Is it people who to learn, right? They're showing up to learn networking. They're showing up with we shared. So we're not coming to say, oh, this is your mentor, this is your mentor. Of course, I'm providing everything there. But if someone person can do it, so basically what we do is we work together, we show up at least if it's by we show up, we talk about what we have done. If we're intentional about LinkedIn, you have to do join. So if you are in building to LinkedIn and like their post, or go to LinkedIn and make your own post, then I'll welcome you into my Pair Hub team, where we can actually, if you're also interested in this not for everybody, so would like you to, if you're interested, you just scan the QR code on your display. These details are going to be deleted, able to reach out to you and know if you're a very serious person, people that will not show up and put in effort. If you would like to get in touch with me personally, you can get in touch with me on LinkedIn. My name is Anaele Stella. Chiamaka is on the screen. So we can chat, talk about projects we want to do, or anything you want to talk about. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam, over to you, please.
Thank you so much. That was a really amazing presentation. Thank you. And before I talk, just wanted to know if there are any questions for our amazing Anaele Stella Chiamaka. Any questions from others, please, first?
I have a question to ask. My own is that actually.
Sorry, you're cutting out, please.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you. We didn't hear your question though. Thank you.
Okay, my own question is that if without the AWS cloud, is it still possible for me to specialize in network security with just, is that one enough for me? Or I will have to do computer network and computer security?
No, you don't have to do all of them. But if you want to actually let me use the word hot cake in the industry, you have to also move with the trend. You have to understand tools that are beyond what you're comfortable with. Now you can just decide to just be on the physical network without going to the cloud. You can decide to learn just the physical network. Well, you may not know the place you're going to work if you will be able to need the knowledge of cloud. And when I mean cloud, I just put AWS cloud practitioner because that's a certification. There are other cloud providers like Google, GCP. We have other ones, right? Azure and so on. So basically, the reason for you to just do the AWS cloud practitioner stuff is for you to really put yourself in front of your peers. That's just how I put it.
Could I respond to that question also? Because it is a
Yes,
really intensive topic of debate. And I'd first like to, if you don't mind me, just sharing my background in terms of how I came into the IT industry, although this was about 27 years ago or so. So I did a 24-hour networking and PC maintenance and building, and then Windows and Novell networks course at the time, 24 hours. And then, and this included TCP/IP and all of this, networking, configuring routers, etc., just for 24 hours. Then the instructor asked me to come and deliver the same course to a next intake. And I was really reluctant at the time because I'd just done 24 hours, but I was interested in knowing more because I wanted to work on a help desk. And then I did an exam with that school, with the training school. It wasn't an accredited exam or anything. And then I went on to do the MCSEs and everything. Then my first job was as an instructor with New Horizons, where I was training TCP and SQL quite well, but then I couldn't train IIS well enough. And so I just left that place after a disastrous training session in Internet Information Server. But over the years, I've done quite a bit of certification. But one of the things that I always check is, where exactly do I want to get to? And what are the skills and knowledge above certification that companies are asking for? So if you're looking to gain an understanding of network security itself, so network security now, I would suggest that rather than just jump on the bandwagon of security, you do, as Stella has said initially, that you gain an understanding of how to work in labs, configuring switches, configuring routers, understanding DHCP, how to automatically assign IP addresses. You understand what switching actually means. You understand what routing actually means. You understand the essence of DNS, domain naming system. You understand all of the fundamental, issues that affect networking. And you can watch free videos on YouTube. I've done a training session once before, but I don't think the video is online. I did it with the Ladder Back Down about 3 years ago. You join communities like Stella's community, where you discuss hands-on labs and things like that and gain that knowledge, gain that mentorship. And then once you've gained that fundamental knowledge, that foundation in networking, that's when you can now go and start looking for areas that you might like to specialize in. Start looking at what employers out there are asking for beyond certification. It has to be beyond certification because today, AWS, for example, may have their AWS Cloud Practitioner exam out there and their AWS AI Practitioner, etc. But that may become redundant in 4 years' time. And if you're young and you're just starting out in networking, let's say that you've just finished uni, you're 22, you want to do networking, or you're just going into university and you want to study networking and then graduate in 3 years' time or 4 years' time, that certification may have become redundant. So it's always great to just make sure that you go after knowledge. Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. Gain some learning every single day. If you add to your knowledge every single day, even if it's just one thing that you learn. I didn't know about that virus total, was it virus total site? Did you say virus total, Stella?
Yes, virus total.
Yeah, thank you. So I didn't know about that at all until today. So I've gained some knowledge here today. So try and acquire knowledge before certification. Before any certification, try and gain that fundamental understanding. It's easy to read a book and to understand. I did what Stella also recommended about a home lab. I built a PC at the start of my, trying to get into IT. I built a PC from scratch. And then I built my home network and home lab. And then I started rather the certifications. Without it, we can read as much as we want, but that's just gaining theoretical knowledge. Nowadays, it's a lot easier, in groups that like the group that Stella runs, it's a lot easier to actually just, configure things, and even on the internet, you can actually get work experiences where you just work, you try and sign up to companies and you get work experience, you get lab type work experiences from employers that you put on your CV, virtual work experiences. So there's plenty out there for you to first acquire knowledge. Once you've acquired that knowledge, then you start looking at the certifications that companies are looking for in their job descriptions. But without the underlying knowledge, you can have as many certifications as you want, but that won't get you anywhere fast compared to having the underlying knowledge and then getting the certification as icing on the cake. Know how to do things, okay? Know how to do things. Know how to configure a router, as Stella's just taught us. Know how to configure a switch. Know how to troubleshoot a router that isn't working. Know how to identify what isn't working when you're trying to access the internet. Is it your local PC that there's a problem with the network card? Is it a problem with the corporate switch or the central switch that connects all computers together? So we need to have that analytical mind where we're able to troubleshoot. Okay, is it only my computer that is unable to access the internet whilst everybody else can on the same floor? Then that means that the problem is local to my system. Is it the entire floor? Then that means that there may be a problem with the switch. And if all the devices in the company can communicate to, say, the printer, but they can't communicate through the router to the internet, then it's a problem with the router. We need to develop our troubleshooting skills, that analytical mindset. And then we now build on that by gaining certifications. And as Stella said, there are many free certificates out there. But let's actually just be hungry for knowledge, hungry for knowledge, hungry for understanding. That's so important, because if we're hungry for knowledge, we're hungry for understanding. When we get those interviews, we'll be able to defend our certificates. We'll be able to defend any examination that we've ever taken because we have the knowledge, not just the theory in our minds. So does that help? Does that answer Mr. Oche's question about, what certification to take, and whether you should take AWS or take something else? Does that answer your question? Okay, Mr. Oche might not be there. Any further questions, please? Further questions, please?
Yes, for me, I would say, Mrs. IBK and Mrs. Stella, I would say thank you very much, because it is now that I've gotten clarity. 3 months ago, I stopped. I was learning troubleshooting, And also, recently my laptop had a very serious problem, and I did some troubleshooting activities on it to detect where was actually the problem, only to discover that it was my hard drive that was completely bad. And that was how I was able to resolve the issue. So, and all these things I learned it from YouTube, just like how she earlier said that we should stop learning. And this is why a lot of people usually run away from software development, because it is the knowledge of what you have, it is even the knowledge of what you know that will help you to carry out the programming activities. Your certification is not even needed when you want to become a software developer. So I think gaining more knowledge is really the goal for now, because there are certificates everywhere, and there are a lot of people that have the certificate, but they don't have the basic practicals of what they are doing or of what they are supposed to do. And that is what is even making the industry to lack a lot of engineers in the field. So I think with this now, I have a very proper direction, and I want to thank everyone for showing me the way out. Thank you so much.
All right. I would like to add that if you're looking for videos where you can actually see and follow, that is, you see someone configuring, you configure your own. I use Jeremy IT Lab. You can start with Jeremy IT Lab, the CCNA series from the beginning to the end. You'll be able to understand basic network concepts and how to configure things. So you'll be able to do your lab just by watching him. So that's a very powerful networking YouTuber that you can actually watch and then grow.
Thank you so much, Stella. And I'd just like to add one last thing to Mr. Oche there. Please don't disregard even the knowledge that you gained from troubleshooting your home PC, because that is knowledge that you can put to good use in a company one day. So don't view that as, oh, that I just did this, I just found this out on my local PC. You understand? I just identified eventually after troubleshooting. That is something big. So make sure that whatever wins that you have, even on your home network, use that to encourage yourself that I am actually getting somewhere, that I am actually gaining knowledge. Document what you did to resolve that issue, because you never know when you will need to resolve that issue in the workplace in future. You understand? So let's all keep winning together, whether it's using our skills on our home network, on our home infrastructure, or in the workplace. But let's never stop learning. Let Stella now round up, please, before I say thank you. Have you got anything to say to us, please? Any final words?
I think I'm fine. First, I think I would just have like to say thank you for the class, and for those of us that paid attention, asked questions, and I encourage everybody to keep learning, because learning never ends until you hit the grave. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for actually engaging with me, and for agreeing to put something for us, together for us. I mean, it's really been interesting to gain a refresher and also to learn new things from you. So really appreciate you. And I wish you more wins as well yourself, that you continue to grow from strength to strength. And we hope to see you again in the future. So thank you so much. Let's all give 3 cheers for Anaele Stella. Give her a round of applause as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kautara.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kautara. Thank you. Thank you, Amma. Thank you.
Thank
You,
you.
Avo.
So
Thank you for the cheers. All right, I would like to go now.
thank you. And we'll now close out
Bye-bye.
the session for tonight. Wishing everyone a happy new year in advance. And we'll see you again. If you're not a member of the Ladder Back Down community, please just reach out and we'll send you a link to join us via Telegram. You can also view our, you can search for us in Telegram, or you can search for us on LinkedIn, on YouTube. We're all there. Thank you so much to everyone and a happy new year in advance. Thank you.